or yellow cake. Who wants yellow cake? It tastes like yellow, and I'm Asian. I should be supporting yellow cake, but I don't. It just tastes like nothing.
And whose team is this? Is this your team, or is this your daddy's team?
Thanks for listening to Dad Mode Podcast. Common sense parenting in a politically correct world. Here's your host, Andy Carlson.
Welcome back to the Dad Mode Podcast, Common Sense Parenting in a Politically Correct World. I'm your host, Andy Carlson, at Andy Carlson Show on the Twitter machine. I'm a father, and I have no idea what I'm doing, but you don't either there, Chiefy, so let's try and learn something together today. The website, as always, dadmodepod.com, Twitter at dadmodepod, or just use the hashtag dadmode. And today, we are Nick is sunless, but hey, don't you worry. We're recording a couple with Nick coming up this weekend, so you'll have some Nick is sun bliss in your life coming up. I just realized that we didn't post an episode last Saturday, and that was kind of more of a brain fart than anything. And I never want to be the person or the parent who just it makes. How am I going to phrase this? I don't want to be the parent that makes excuses all the time, like why they can't do X or go to event Y or forgets this and that because they got kids. And then, you know the type. You know, they're always like, oh, well, the kids and then the blah, blah, blah. And then someone got sick and things like that. And I understand things get busy, and especially with kids. But it's about prioritizing things. And I'll be honest, I completely dropped the ball last Saturday on the episode. I'm not going to be like, oh, well, Muggsy, oh, Lordy, she had a little fever, and yeah, but she didn't. And, you know, she's perfectly fine. I just forgot about it. I'll just be straight up real with you guys. But you know the type of parent I'm talking about, right? You're thinking about that person right now where if you ask them, you know, why they couldn't come to the party, why they missed the play date, why, you know, they forgot about, you know, making cupcakes for the bake sale, then they'll just go on like a 30-minute diatribe is like, oh, well, Lacey put her shoes down the food processor and the kids got hockey and this and that and blah, 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 blah. I mean, because if you really want to, you know, kids could be your never-ending excuse of why you're sloppy and you forget about stuff and you're just generally unreliable. And I fully intend on using a couple of those, but you know, that's just not me. That's just not me. I just forgot about the episode last Saturday, but you know, we are here, and the topic that we're going to talk about is holidays. Holidays with the kids. I'm going to do a little power ranking, a little top 10 action of what I feel are the best holidays for when you have kids. And you know, this comes on the heels of Thanksgiving. We do have Christmas and Hanukkah and Kwanzaa and Saturnalia and the holidays coming up, because I have to say all 5 of those together. Otherwise, I'm going to get, you know, picketed and dirty emails and stuff like that. Because, all right, so I'm just going to be real with you guys. We are going to have the holidays that are predominantly Christian and predominantly American-based. So, and I say American-based because a lot of people celebrate Christmas, a lot of people celebrate Easter, but don't celebrate the Christian, you know, traditionalness of it. They just more celebrate the holiday. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that. I'm not passing judgment on that, as you know, the materialism, the stores, like the hallmarks of the world have turned them into more standalone holidays as opposed to, you know, religious events like they were intended to be. But neither here nor there, not going down that rabbit hole. So we are going to talk about Easter. We are going to talk about Christmas. I'm not going to throw Hanukkah in there, mostly because I don't really know too much about it. I know that it's a celebration of the oil lasting in the lamp for 8 days when there's very little amount of oil, and you get 8 nights of presents and little gifts and things like that. That's my basic understanding of the Hanukkah. And also it's like a week before Christmas. So that's all I know. But we're going to talk about Christmas. We're going to talk about Easter, et cetera, et cetera. So we have our power rankings of little holidays with kids. And we had Mugsy's first Thanksgiving. She's just turning 6 months tomorrow, Sunday. Yeah. So we had her first Thanksgiving. We went down to Crystal's parents and hung out with her siblings and their kids. And it is really cool to see all the little cousins get together because they're starting to be at the age where Mugsy's the youngest and the oldest is, I want to say, 5. And then like there are 3 in the middle, 2 boys and a girl that are about between 2 and 3, not quite 3 yet. And it is cool because you're starting to see their personalities come out when they interact, and like who's going to be the leader, who's going to be the funny one, who's going to be the badass rebel, and who's going to be the whiny one. It's kind of funny because you're just looking at your individual kids, you already start to see their personalities come out very early on. And with Mugsy, she's just the very easygoing, whatevs, rolling with the punches type. She's always, you don't want to say emotionless, but she's always very just like stoic and be like, whatevs, shoot, I do what I want, and that whole thing. And we're taking her to see Santa today, Saturday, and a lot of kids freak out on Santa's laps. I'm looking forward to some of the pictures, and it should be good times. We're going to the zoo since we're members at the zoo. Ooh, we're elitist members at the zoo. Also, the thought of going to the mall, see a mall Santa on a weekend, basically makes me want to blow my brains out, and that whole idea. So really lucky that we're going to the zoo. It should be less traffic. Plus, I want to see some damn lemurs, man. I want to see some lemurs. So we're lucky we have a membership pass. So taking her to see Santa, and I expect her to just be chill. She's just gonna be like, whatever. She's almost too good with strangers, as opposed to, you almost like to see a little bit of the squirming when you're sitting with a new person, as opposed to her just sitting back and be like, whatever. Who are you? You're interesting. I want to get to know you. That whole thing. So we're really going to have to hammer home the whole stranger danger thing with her. Probably. Who knows? I had a random point to make, except I forgot it. So that's pretty standard with the show. And now we have our top 10 list. Now, a couple of these are extra as well. Like I put in, I'm sure I forgot a holiday or two, because this is just a loosely compiled list. Some of these are very specific to Minnesota, and you'll see why. But honorable mention, I put in Arbor Day. I don't really know when Arbor Day is, I'll be honest, but it's always my default holiday of making jokes, because we Americans, we ugly, beautiful Americans, we always drink and eat too much on our holidays, and Arbor Day is no exception. I mean, you have a potluck, you get really drunk, and you plant a tree on Arbor Day. Beautiful. Hashtag America. That whole thing. But I think it'll be fun. As soon as I find out when Arbor Day actually is, and Muggsy and I, the kids and I, we can just go out. We'll plant a tree or in the backyard or something like that. Oh, probably already behind on this since trees take like 50 years to grow. But planting your own Christmas tree, how fun would that be? Maybe when we move to our second place or find a place on land, that's what I'll do. I'll plant Christmas trees, and then like my grandkids can pick their own Christmas tree. How awesome is that? Write that down. Somebody write that down. I have no paper. Yeah, so that's honorable mention. Number 10 is St. Patrick's Day. Now, I put it down. I don't know why. Because mostly I need to fill out the list. And yes, St. Patty's Day, you're not taking your kids out drinking unless you're from Wisconsin, that is socially acceptable over there in that barren wasteland of stupid Packer fans. Anyways, but you do like the traditions of the dressing them up in green and eating some corned beef and cabbage. I love me some corned beef and cabbage. Wife, not so much, but that's okay. Me and Muggsy will develop a taste for it. Yeah. And sidebar, I think Muggsy and I are going to have similar palates because the wife absolutely despises peas. Like she rates peas right up there with ISIS. And little Muggsy made her some mashed peas and got a smile. It's delicious. And I love the hell out of peas. Peas are probably my second favorite vegetable behind broccoli. And yeah, get some. So have some corned beef and cabbage. And also March Madness usually starts around St. Patty's Day. So that'd be something fun to share as well. Introduce Muggsy to Daddy's degenerate gambling. That whole thing. Number 9. Very specific to Minnesota. Not really a holiday, but we'll put it in there. MEA, a Minnesota Educators A. Yeah. Basically what it is for some reason. It's been explained to me several times, but I still don't understand why in October, like 2 months after the school year has started, kids randomly just get a Thursday, Friday off. And now I always remember it because it's usually around the final game of the football regular season, high school football regular season, because the final game is always on a Wednesday as opposed to a Friday because it's MEA, Thursday, Friday off. So with that, there's a lot of fun things that kids can do. I mean, they're already back into school. 2 months are maybe starting to get a little bored, and you still got some decent fall weather. Take them on a little trip. Take them on a little trip. Maybe take them to a college football game. Maybe a little extended weekend, that whole thing. And yeah, it's just a nice little spot where you can spend some time with your kids. Ooh, go to an apple orchard, or it's usually right before Halloween. So maybe you can do some Halloween decorating. Go to a pumpkin patch. Ooh, go to Seaver's corn maze. That whole thing, it's awesome. Even though, another sidebar, I really don't get why. Or so it's for a teachers conference, is what I've come to understand. Why can't the teachers have their stupid conference in, the 3 to 3.5 to 4 months where they don't do anything in the summer? Why not have the conference in the summer? And instead of having it in like St. Cloud or Brainerd or wherever the hell they have it, why not just have it in Vegas? MEA teachers in Vegas? Come on. That's got to be appealing, right? Fine, maybe not. Number 8, New Year's. And yes, a lot of it has to do with New Year's, baby. Dressing your kid up as, 2016, baby. Yeah, good times. And it is kind of fun where we talked at the beginning of the show about using your kids as excuses to get out of things. And I never really was a huge New Year's Eve guy. Like I understand that, people like, getting together, big parties, drinking too much, etc. And that was never really my thing. Like I was like low key hanging out with a small group of friends or the wife, then girlfriend, that whole thing. And staying up late, just not really my bag anymore. And now that I have a kid, I have a built-in excuse to be home and away from the New Year's party by 9, maybe even 8. Maybe even 8. So that's why it's already so high up on the list. Number 7, Valentine's Day. And this is more for when the kid gets a little bit older. And Valentine's, yes, you're going to dress the kid up in pink and red and Cupid and all that other crap. And then, you're going to give the wife a box of chocolates from Muggsy. And then you write Muggsy's name with your left hand, so it looks all scrawled out and stuff. Even though she's 2 and she can't write, even though she has better penmanship than me because I have really crappy handwriting. But when the kid gets a little bit older and elementary schools, and then you get the little boxes of Valentine's Day things, those are so cool. I mean, how awesome are those? Like, I would always, as a kid, be like, I want the Power Rangers ones. I want the Ninja Turtle ones. And there was always one or two, a little bit, it's not risque, it's but a little bit forward, a little bit, a little bit, oh yeah, sort of suggestive. Not even suggestive, but just like most of them are milk toast, like cowabunga, dude. Happy Valentine's Day. Whereas if you had the Turtles ones, there was always one or two April ones where like, I want you to be my Valentine or something like that. And you would always save that one for the girl you were crushing on in elementary school. So my crush growing up, her name, well, not growing up, but in elementary school, her name was Abby. So I would always set aside the one little bit forward, a little bit pushy Valentines from the box, and they got like the sheets, and then you got to cut them like there's 4 Valentines per sheet and that whole thing. I would always save that for her, and then I'd wait. Just drop it in the little Valentine's box. Feel like a baller, feel like a G in 3rd grade, and then nothing, and then absolutely nothing. It gets used for it gets used to the rest of life. But I can't wait till Muggsy's that age, and that she's already going to be a cutie, and that she's going to have daddy's personality, which is probably going to be a terrible thing. But that she's going to get a bunch of those suggestive, pushy ones, and then we can sort through, and we can be like, Dylan, no. Aiden, no. Jaden, no. Caden, no. DeAndre, maybe. That whole thing. So that'll be fun on Valentine's Day. Also candy. Valentine's Day candy, very underrated. Mostly Skittles and Laffy Taffy, that whole thing. Number 6, Thanksgiving. Just had Thanksgiving. It's the second major holiday that we've had since Muggsy's come around in June. Well, I guess you got 4th of July. She was kind of too young then. You did have Halloween. She dressed up as Supergirl, which is super fun. But also Thanksgiving, man. It's a great time. You got family, friends, football, and lots and lots of food. And I felt kind of bad because she's at that age where she's starting to eat solid foods, and she's very, very interested to what the wife and I am eating, and what people around her are eating, because you can tell she's very curious, and she's like, that giant bone of a turkey leg, and then daddy just shoves it in his mouth, and then the bone comes out clean. How does he do that? Why what is going on here? And that whole thing. And it'll probably be more fun when she's a little bit older, and then she can have little portions of the turkey and the stuffing and the potatoes. But last Thanksgiving, excuse me, first Thanksgiving, she just had a little bit of squash, plain squash, plain roasted and pureed squash. You can't have the butter or the salt and pepper or the olive oil. I'm a big olive oil guy. Just a little touch gives a little flavor. A little bit of brown sugar as well. Now, she can't have all of that, but she had plain squash. But Thanksgiving, I can tell it's going to be a little bit awesome as she grows older, and especially as she gets more into football, and we continue to watch the Lions just do Lionsy things. Yeah, even though they won on Thanksgiving, they did not win on Thursday night against the Packers, which annoys me. Number 5, ironically, the 4th of July. And again, this is another thing where when they're just a little bit older, and maybe 7, 8, 9 range, when you're grilling out and they're chowing down on a hot dog and chasing after the ice cream man, and they got their little sparklers, and it's the coolest thing in the world. And then JPP, Jason Pierre-Paul, shows up with a van full of fireworks, and then the party really gets started, and that whole thing. And it's a recurring theme on a lot of these holidays, where when you get family and friends together, that's always good memories. Especially, Muggsy doesn't live too close to her first cousins. She lives right down the block from some of her second cousins, but she doesn't. When she grows up, she's not going to be able to see them like every weekend, or maybe once a month, somewhere in there, at these sort of holidays and events. So this is going to stick with her. She's going to have good memories about playing with her cousins, chasing things around, eating too much ice cream, and trying to light Andy's shoelace on fire with a sparkler. Don't pretend I'm not noticing. And besides, why am I wearing shoes? Daddy only wears flip-flops in the summer. You know this. You know this. Come on. Number 4 is Halloween. And maybe a bit of an upset. Maybe it might be too low. But Halloween is a lot of fun with kids. I'm a big costume guy. Muggsy this year was a super girl, super woman, superman, super person. I don't know what we have to say nowadays, but she was a female wearing a Superman's costume because Daddy bought it after last Halloween on clearance because I'm planning ahead. And that's what I do. But as she grows older, and whatever her interests are, it'll be fun putting together the costumes because that's the funnest part, or most fun part, whatever. Because if you're a kid, and I was just thinking back too, I think we did an episode on this. If you just drop a 50 or $100 on a costume, the kid's not gonna appreciate that, and you're just gonna throw it away right after she is done trick or treating, and they'll never wear it or see it again, and it's just like whatever, a bunch of waste of money. But if you spend time with the kid and build a costume or piece together a costume, whether it be out of cardboard, you're actually fashioning it, or you go to Goodwill and you find some nice pieces, and then you bleach the hell out of it, all those pieces, and those are the good memories. And yes, you'll save a little bit of money. Yes, it'll cost you some time, except it'll be time well spent with your kid fashioning those Halloween costumes, and they'll always remember it. Like I always remember my homemade Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle Halloween costume, my homemade Ghostbuster costume with the proton pack. Come on, how cool is that? And then what else? I was Batman one year. Those are just good times, good memories. Number 3, Easter. Now, maybe a little bit of an upset, but I'm a big fan of Easter, especially from a kid's perspective. Again, with the theme, family, friends, good food, ham, potatoes, hard-boiled eggs, deviled eggs, all that good stuff that's going to give you lots of gas. But Andy don't care because he's married and has a kid and doesn't have to impress anyone anymore. So that whole thing. And plus, since we have a girl, little Easter dresses, getting excited, a little Easter egg hunt. How fun is that? A little Easter bunny, get your little Easter basket. And then from the Christian perspective, it's about Jesus rising from the dead, our Lord and Savior coming back, and da 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 da. Not to get too far down the religious rabbit hole, but just talking about pure superficial surface stuff. The Easter bunny, Easter egg hunts, Starburst, jelly beans. Hell yeah, great holiday that Easter. Number 2, not technically a holiday, but I'm gonna put birthday on there. The kid's birthday is an event. And as you get older, like I don't think I've celebrated a birthday since my 21st, to be honest. And I just turned 30 this year, and we didn't do anything because I didn't want to do anything. And it's not that big of a deal as you get older. Where when you're younger, the birthday is like round zero. Like growing up, I don't know why my birthday was not a national holiday. And it was always so fun about getting your cousins together and your family and your neighborhood friends, and you got a cake and you got some presents, and the day was all about you, man. The day was all about you, and it doesn't help our self-centered narcissistic point of view probably, but that's okay. I mean, once a year you got some cake, you got some ice cream. It's gonna be good stuff. And by the way, if you do fondant on a birthday cake, shame on you. Shame on you. Because fondant should be only reserved for very, very, very fancy wedding cakes that no one's going to eat anyways. They just want to, look and show off and look good. Or cake competitions. That's it. Everything else, including wedding cake, I don't care. Just get giant sheet cake for us to eat. You can have your own stupid cake and groom's cake to look at, but just get a sheet cake with better cream frosting. The butter cream frosting, better butter, whatever you want to call it. It's fantastic. That's way better. That is the best. Plus they have one that has like the cream cheese slightly cutting it, so it's a little bit thicker, a little bit creamier, and you still get the sweetness. Come on. and this is a hot take too. Carrot cake. Carrot cake is easily the number one cake there is. Everyone talks about chocolate or white cake or yellow cake. Who wants yellow cake? It tastes like yellow, and I'm Asian. I should be supporting yellow cake, but I don't. It just tastes like nothing. Also, what is with all of you people in red velvet cake? It is just chocolate cake with food coloring or beet juice extract, or maybe a little bit of sweetness. But why does everyone freak out about red velvet cake? It's stupid. And yes, I understand that you can have the cream cheese frosting on it. And I just talked about the virtues of cream cheese frosting, but red velvet cake is stupid. Top cakes: carrot cake, spice cake, chocolate cake, marble cake, German chocolate cake. End of list. White cake, yellow cake should not exist. Yellow cake lives do not matter. And also, red velvet cake is stupid, and it's a gimmick, and it should be done with. That is all. And that's number 2. Happy birthday. Happy birthday, Muggsy. Your dad's just going to complain about cake on your first birthday. No, except he won't, because he's going to get you some awesome, awesome cake. That whole thing. Number 1, numero uno. Christmas, holidays, Hanukkah, Kwanzaa. I don't know if that's how that's pronounced. Saturnalia, because you cannot forget the pagan holiday of Saturnalia that inspired the date of Christmas and that whole thing. But from a religious aspect, it's Jesus' birth, that whole thing. And also, you got all the Christmas specials, Frosty, the Grinch, the other one as well. Christmas movies like The Santa Claus, A Christmas Story, Scrooged. Scrooged is a fantastic movie. Scrooged is really good. And then, it's nice because you're shopping for holiday presents, and the kids get really into it when they're a little bit older. And I can't wait to take little Muggsy to the store to buy a present for mommy. That's gonna be so fun. That's gonna be so fun, and that's what I'm looking forward to. And then you also get family and friends together. You have lots more food. Again, the reoccurring motif. And then we were a one gift on Christmas Eve, the rest on Christmas Day type family, and usually the Christmas Eve present was something that you would use on Christmas Eve. Like it would literally be pajamas or slippers or something that has utility, something like that. So we ain't opening the Xbox on Christmas Eve. That's a Christmas Day thing. And the wife and I have been talking about. That's what we're gonna do with Muggsy. We're gonna get her like a pajamas or a storybook or both, and then that'll come into play on Christmas Eve. And leaving out the cookies and milk for Santa, and then Andy has to be all incognito and sneaky about trying to eat those cookies and drink the milk. Sorry, spoiler alert if you're listening with your kids. But I'm excited for that. Taking to see Santa, going around driving and seeing Christmas lights, hanging Christmas lights, which are a pain in the ass and a biatch, but it's okay. And it's just exciting. Christmas with kids is going to be the best. It's going to be the best. And then just on Christmas morning, when they wake you up at the ass crack of dawn, when they're a little bit older, like 5 in the morning, and be like, Santa was here. No shit. Because I just put the presents out like 2 hours ago. Yeah. And just seeing their face light up when, the thing that they've been talking about for months and months and months. Because, we're not going to be the parents that just spoil the kid by, in October, I want this thing. Parents will then go out and buy that thing. No, you wait for Christmas. And then just seeing the kid's face when they get the present they've wanted for so long. And then it's going to be awesome. It's going to be awesome as Dad drinks a crap of coffee because he was up at 4 a.m. setting up Christmas. And it's at 5. And that whole thing. Yeah. So that is our top 10 list of holidays with kids. Again, honorable mention, Arbor Day, number 10, St. Patty's Day, number 9, MEA, still don't know what it stands for. Number 8, New Year's. Number 7, Valentine's Day. 6, Thanksgiving. 5, 4th of July. 4, Halloween. 3, Easter. 2, birthday. And number 1, Christmas. Oh, Christmas songs too. Snow's coming down, Christmas. Ah, na, 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 Christmas. I'm excited. I can't wait for Little Mugsy's first Christmas, and it'll be good. All right. If you want to support the show, Amazon, dadmodepod.com, top left corner. Click through our Amazon banner. It'll take you to Amazon through our link. Bookmark that link. And every time you're shopping for the holidays, because you know you are, just use that bookmark and we'll get a little taste as you do your shopping. You already do. It's a great way to support the show and keep the lights on in this mother. All right. Show's available on iTunes. Follow me on Twitter at Andy Carlson Show or follow the show at DadModePod. The website is dadmodepod.com. And we're gone. We'll see you next week. Be a man, be a father, go dad mode, and we'll see you next time.
Think the episode you just heard is worth $1? Well, send it our way. Visit dadmodepod.com/support to find out how. Be a man, be a father. Go dad mode. The music is created and produced by deeB. To hear more of his tracks, visit soundcloud.com/deeB.